There's a lot of international mail that flows to a small nation in Western Africa. The mail is addressed to an address that should be right here along this main street. But I asked my friend to go there and check it out, and he didn't find anything.
I've been looking for 80 Broad Street. I'm going to say that 80 Broad Street doesn't exist.
Instead, the mail that is addressed to go here is actually brought to a building down the road. Right here.
Right here, this building is where all LISC iron mills are forwarded from the building that doesn't exist on 80 Broad Street.
From there, the mail is scanned and sent electronically thousands of miles away to a nondescript office building outside of Washington, D.C. It's actually right near my house in Northern Virginia. Henry, check out this random building. Does this building look super boring to you?
Oh.
This building is right near our house. I guess I expected something a little bit more interesting. This process is a part of a secretive web of corporate secrecy. It's a web that is built off of years of strange connections between the United States and the country of Liberia, a nation invented by a group of Americans here in Virginia. This is how the US stashed its secrets off the coast of West Africa. In this building, there is a bunch of mail that comes from a little country in West Africa, and it gets sent to this building near our house. Does that seem kind of weird to you?
Yes, what did they do with it?
That's what I want to figure out here. So let's say I want to start an international corporation and start doing business abroad. I live here in the United States, so naturally I would want to start my company here in the US. But when I ask the internet how to do this, I get a bunch of ads that look like this. Even though my office would be here in Washington, D.C. in the United States, the internet is telling me that on paper I should set up my corporation in one of these random small countries around the world. Places like the British Virgin Islands, or Mauritius, or Belize, Gibraltar, Malta, the Seychelles Islands. Wait, the Seychelles? Like that tiny island nation in the middle of the Indian Ocean that has like less than 100,000 people? It's like 40 hours of flying to get there. Why would I want to set up my business in the Seychelles? Here's why. If I set up my corporation on paper in the British Virgin Islands or the Seychelles, suddenly I actually don't have to pay very much taxes, if any at all. My new corporation now won't have to actually obey any of the corporate laws here in the United States, which require you to publish all sorts of information about your finances, about your corporation to the public record. If my corporation is in the Seychelles, I don't have to do any of that. This is actually starting to seem like a pretty attractive option. These tiny nations have set up their laws to attract big corporations for this very purpose, to set up on paper in their country so that the government can make a little bit of money off of the little taxes they receive and any of the registration fees and dues. And it's not just corporations. The same concept applies to shipping vessels. These are big barges that make our world economy run, and they spend most of their time in water that belongs to no country, and yet they still have to follow the rules of the country whose flag they fly, where they're registered. And so if you register to a country that has very low taxes and no laws around how you need to treat your employees on the boat and what safety regulations you need to follow, then those are the rules you need to follow when you're out on the high sea. So the modern global economy turns out to be a race to the bottom. Corporations and shipping vessels registering themselves to whatever country will give them the least amount of accountability and transparency. We call these havens, tax havens, or shelters. And this isn't just like shady criminal corporations. Most corporations that you interact with on a daily basis have loads of subsidiaries in faraway tax havens that they have set up to escape transparency and accountability. Okay, but back to me and my corporation that I theoretically want to sign up. If I want to set up in the Seychelles or the British Virgin Islands, this is actually kind of complicated. How do I navigate all the laws and the paperwork? Ask the internet. And when I ask the internet, I get a bunch of ads. These are ads of companies who are dedicated to helping corporations set up in these offshore jurisdictions, in these tax havens. And so if I want to set up in the British Virgin Islands, I could choose a bunch of different companies to help me get that paperwork done. And then while I actually do my business back here in Washington, D.C., they help manage all the taxes and the requirements and all the little things I need to do to upkeep my little facade of having a company in this place, even though I actually don't. Okay, so here's where this gets weird. We're talking about tax havens and offshore jurisdictions and all this stuff. Let's get back to Liberia, which Liberia is one of these tax havens. It's a place that has structured its laws to attract foreign corporations and shipping vessels to register with them so that they can make a little money off of those dues and taxes. When I go to start my corporation in Liberia, I don't get a bunch of ads for middlemen who want to help me set up my new Liberian corporation. Instead, I'm funneled to one company, this one. And this company boasts that it has the exclusive right to handle all companies that want to register their corporation or ship in Liberia. This is the company whose building is near my house. And on the surface, it just looks like another middleman paper pusher. Super boring. But you peek under the surface and there's something way bigger going on here. Not just a corporation running away from taxes and accountability, but instead this is a symbol of how the US projects its power in the 21st century, and how it uses other countries to hide its secrets. Quick pause for a second. This story is crazy, and it's about to get even more crazy. The whole reason I'm going down this rabbit hole, that I started to look into this Liberia thing, is because of a phone call I had. I was driving north up to Massachusetts a couple months ago. Many of you may have seen the videos from that trip. And I was on the phone with my friend Ben over at Fully. Fully is the company who makes my desk and the chair I'm sitting on. Ben and I got chatting. I just announced that Borders was canceled and I was sort of moving on to new projects, and he was like, what stories do you want to make? And like, can we support your stories? I was like, yes, but like anything that has to do with like the global economy, which is something I'm sort of interested in, is like, I'm gonna go deep and I'm gonna uncover crazy stuff. And like, you're a company, you know, who does business in the global economy. And he was like, do it. Like, I want to see like what storytelling you can do, and we want to support that. For context here, Fully's a B Corp. A B Corp is a type of corporation that isn't just the standard profit-seeking company. Instead, they make major efforts to be transparent, to be socially impactful in a positive way, to be accountable, and to be sustainable. That's rare. That's a rare thing. Fully does not claim to be perfect. All they say is that they're making a major effort to be the type of corporation that leaves a positive impact on the people who use the product, but also the people who interact with the production, and to leave a positive impact on the globe while doing so. And that's why they're supporting this video today, is because they care about this sort of thing, and they want to always be pushing the limit on how we think about business and how we think about the impact of corporations in the world. And I respect that. That is so rare among companies these days. And so I love Fully for that reason. Oh, and they make amazing products. Like, that's also a giant part of this. So my desk, a lot of the stuff in our studio is Fully stuff. They sell really high quality products, desks and chairs and all sorts of products that make you more active and just improve your relationship with work. They don't want you to buy these products unless you actually need them. But there's a lot of people these days who tend to need a new work from home setup given the times we're in. And so they are running a sale on their site for the whole month of November, which there's a few days left in that sale. These are not just your standard desks. These are an investment in a product that will last you a very long time. They're solid, they're well built. Go onto the Fully site, check out their products, see if there's anything there that you need right now. But the major message here is Fully wants you to be thoughtful about the stuff that you buy, knowing that it's often a part of a much larger system. Thank you, Fully, for supporting this video. Let's get back to the story of Liberia and what the heck is happening in Liberia. It gets pretty nuts from here. What's the deal? Why does this one random building